Let's be honest, car mods are one of those things that every gearhead thinks about at some point. Whether it's chasing a bit more horsepower, sharpening up the handling, or just making your ride look and sound meaner. The aftermarket world is full of tempting upgrades. But not all mods are created equal. Some will transform your car into something special, while others can do more harm than good. That's why today, we're letting you know about 13 mods that are genuinely worth your money, and 5 mods that are nothing but trouble. Number 13. Lightweight wheels and high-performance tires. Ask any seasoned enthusiast and they'll tell you, nothing changes the way a car feels on the road more dramatically than wheels and tires. Sure, horsepower grabs all the headlines, but if that power can't reach the ground effectively, it's wasted. Lightweight wheels reduce unsprung weight, which is the mass that isn't supported by your suspension. The less unsprung weight, the quicker your suspension reacts, the more nimble your car feels, and the faster it accelerates. Pair that with a set of sticky performance tires and suddenly your car feels glued to the pavement. Corners that used to feel sketchy now inspire confidence, and braking distances shrink noticeably. Number 12. Suspension upgrades. Once your engine is making more power, the next question becomes, can your car actually handle it? Suspension upgrades make sure the answer is yes. While sway bars and strut braces might not sound exciting, they work behind the scenes to tighten up your handling and keep body roll under control. A well-balanced suspension setup makes your car feel sharper, more planted, and more predictable. Lowering kits or coilovers drop the center of gravity, improving stability and giving the car a more aggressive stance. The result is a ride that feels sportier without necessarily being uncomfortable, though you'll want to choose carefully to avoid turning your daily driver into a teeth-rattling go-kart. Number 11. Upgraded fuel injectors and fuel system. Here's a simple truth about power. If you want to burn more air, you need to burn more fuel. That's why any serious performance build eventually calls for upgraded fuel injectors, pumps, or even a complete overhaul of the fuel system. Bigger injectors ensure that your engine gets enough fuel at higher loads, preventing lean conditions that could fry pistons or valves. A stronger fuel pump keeps the pressure consistent, even under boost. Together, they create a safety net that allows the rest of your mods to work properly. The cool part is that you won't always feel the fuel system working, but you'll feel the consequences if it's not. Number 10. Throttle body and intake manifold upgrades. The throttle body is the gatekeeper of your engine's airflow. A larger, high-performance throttle body opens that gate wider, letting more air rush in when you step on the pedal. Combined with a performance intake manifold that optimizes air distribution to each cylinder, you achieve a smoother, more efficient breathing system. What does that translate to? Snappier throttle response, better mid-range power, and an engine that just feels eager. These upgrades shine when paired with other breathing mods like a cold air intake, exhaust, and cams. It's all about stacking efficiency, and while gains on paper might not look massive, the change in drivability is what sells it. The car feels sharper, more immediate, and more responsive to every input. Number 9. Lightweight flywheel and performance clutch. Here's where you really start to feel the engine respond directly to your right foot. A lightweight flywheel reduces rotational mass, meaning the engine revs quicker and feels more responsive. Suddenly, heel-toe downshifts feel effortless, and the car feels like it wants to leap forward at every stab of the throttle. Pair that with a performance clutch, and you've got a drivetrain setup that can handle more torque without slipping or overheating. It's not just about strength, though. The engagement feels tighter, more direct, and far more confidence-inspiring when you're pushing the car hard. Number 8. Better oils, catch cans, and PCV upgrades. Not every mod has to be about adding horsepower. Some of the smartest ones are about protecting what you already have. High-quality engine oil is obvious, but enthusiasts often go further with oil coolers or baffled oil pans to prevent starvation under hard cornering. Then there's the humble catch can, a small device that traps oil vapors before they can gunk up your intake valves. On modern direct injection engines, this is a game changer. Without a catch can, carbon buildup on intake valves can rob you of power and efficiency over time. With one, your engine stays cleaner, healthier, and more efficient for longer. Number 7. Cold air intake, high-flow air filter. Cold air intake is one of the most popular mods. On the surface, it's a simple idea. Give your engine cooler, denser air and it will breathe better. And when an engine breathes better, it performs better. But what makes this mod so popular isn't just the numbers, it's the experience. The very moment you slap a quality cold air intake on your car, you don't just get a little extra horsepower, you get a whole new soundtrack. That throaty growl as the throttle opens up makes the car feel alive in a way that stock setups usually don't. For daily drivers, that sound alone is worth the upgrade. Number 6. Exhaust upgrades. High flow exhaust. If the cold air intake is about helping your car inhale, then the exhaust is all about the exhale. Stock exhaust systems are designed with compromises. Manufacturers want to keep things quiet, meet emissions regulations, and save on costs, which often means your car's breathing ability is being choked down. Upgrading to a high-flow exhaust or a well-designed catback system is like clearing your sinuses. Suddenly, the engine can breathe freely and it shows. A good exhaust upgrade does two things: improves performance and transforms character. On the performance side, reducing back pressure allows exhaust gases to leave the combustion chamber faster. That frees up horsepower, particularly at higher RPMs, where stock systems tend to bottleneck flow. On the character side, let's be honest, the sound is everything. From a deep rumble at idle to that raspy growl as the revs climb. A performance exhaust doesn't just make your car faster, it makes it feel faster. But here's the catch. Exhaust mods aren't just louder is better. A poorly designed system can actually rob you of power. Engines rely on a phenomenon called exhaust scavenging, where the flow of exhaust gases helps pull fresh air into the cylinder. If you go too wide on pipe diameter or slap on a cheap straight pipe without understanding your car's needs, you could lose low-end torque and make the car feel sluggish. Number 5. Performance ECU Tuning. Modern cars are run by computers, and those computers are programmed from the factory to play it safe. Manufacturers leave a lot of performance on the table so that cars can run reliably in all kinds of conditions, on different qualities of fuel, and with minimal maintenance. That's great for the average driver, but for car lovers, it's wasted potential. This is where tuning comes in. A performance ECU reflash, chip, or standalone tune unlocks the hidden potential your car already has. By adjusting things like fuel maps, ignition timing, throttle response, and boost pressure, a tune can completely transform how your car behaves. Suddenly, that laggy throttle feels razor sharp. Acceleration that once felt sluggish now snaps your head back into the seat. Of course, this is also where the stakes get higher. A good tune from a reputable source will give you reliable gains. But a bad tune? That's a fast track to engine damage. It's the difference between unlocking an extra 50 horsepower safely or blowing a piston through your block. Number 4. Upgraded intercooler. Engines hate heat. The harder you push them, the hotter they run, and once temperatures climb past a safe threshold, performance takes a nosedive. That's why upgrading your cooling system, especially with a high-performance intercooler or radiator, is one of the smartest mods you can make, particularly if you're running a turbocharged or supercharged car. Think about it. A turbo compresses air, and when you compress air, it heats up. Hot air is less dense, which means fewer oxygen molecules make it into the cylinders. That robs you of power and makes the engine more prone to knocking. A stock intercooler will get the job done for average daily driving. But once you start turning up the boost or asking more from your car, it can't keep up. An upgraded intercooler fixes that problem by keeping intake temps lower and more stable, even under sustained hard driving. It's like giving your car a stronger set of lungs. Every breath is cooler, cleaner, and more efficient, which makes the rest of your mods work even better. Number 3. High-quality spark plugs. When most people think of performance, spark plugs are probably the last thing on their mind. They're tiny, cheap, and easy to forget about. But they play one of the most critical roles in the entire combustion process. Without a strong, reliable spark, that carefully measured mix of fuel and air never ignites the way it should. And when you start asking more from your engine, the ignition system becomes the unsung hero that keeps everything in sync. High-performance spark plugs are designed to handle higher heat ranges, resist fouling, and deliver a stronger, more consistent spark. This means cleaner combustion, less chance of misfires, and smoother power delivery. Pair them with upgraded ignition coils or wires, and you'll have an ignition system that fires off every cylinder cleanly, even under extreme conditions. So while spark plugs may seem boring compared to a turbo upgrade or a big exhaust, they're one of those foundational mods that make all the flashy stuff possible. Number 2. Performance camshafts. A performance camshaft upgrade is not for the faint of heart. This is where you open up the engine and start changing how it breathes on a fundamental level. The camshaft controls the opening and closing of the valves, determining how much air and fuel enter the combustion chamber and how quickly exhaust gases are expelled. By changing the cam profile, you can completely reshape the power band of your engine. Want screaming top-end power? A more aggressive cam will keep the valves open longer, letting the engine breathe deeper at high RPM. Want stump-pulling torque? A different grind will favor low-end grunt. But this isn't a bolt-on and go type of mod. It requires supporting upgrades like stronger valve springs, maybe upgraded rockers, and definitely proper tuning. Get it right, and the difference is night and day. The car feels sharper, hungrier, and alive in a way that a stock cam just can't match. Get it wrong, and you'll end up with an engine that idles roughly, stalls out, or wears itself down too quickly. Number 1. Boost controllers. For turbocharged cars, boost is the magic word. More boost means more compressed air, more fuel, and ultimately more power. A simple manual boost controller or an electronic setup gives you direct control over how much pressure the turbo delivers. Done right, it's like having a dial that lets you wake the car up on demand. But the real game changer is upgrading the turbo itself. Stock turbos are designed for reliability and efficiency, not necessarily maximum performance. Swapping to a larger, more efficient unit can dramatically increase power potential. Suddenly, your car feels like a different machine altogether. The danger here, of course, is going too far. Cranking up boost without upgrading the fuel system, intercooler, or even the engine internals is a recipe for disaster. Detonation, blown head gaskets, or snapped rods aren't uncommon when people chase boost without proper support. That's why smart people stage their upgrades. Start with fueling and cooling, then increase boost gradually with proper tuning. When you respect the limits and do it right though, turbo upgrades and boost controls are some of the most thrilling mods out there. So now that we're done with the mods that are worthy of your money, let's talk about 5 mods that will absolutely wreck your car. Number 1. Cheap ECU tunes and off-the-shelf performance chips. If a proper tune is like hiring a master chef to cook for your car, then a cheap eBay chip is like microwaving a frozen meal and calling it gourmet. These bargain bin ECU mods promise quick horsepower gains for next to nothing, but they rarely deliver. Instead, they mess with critical signals in your car's brain. Things like air-fuel ratios, ignition timing, or boost targets. The problem is, engines are sensitive. Run too lean and you risk detonation. Advance timing too far and you get knock. Push boost without supporting upgrades and you're flirting with catastrophic failure. A bad tune doesn't just mean poor drivability. It can melt pistons, crack heads, and destroy an engine from the inside out. Number 2. Cranking up boost without proper support. Few things feel as intoxicating as turbo boost. That surge of power when the turbo spools is addictive. And it's easy to see why people get greedy. Just a twist of a boost controller and suddenly you're making way more power. Sounds simple, right? Unfortunately, this is where many engines meet their doom. The truth is, boost isn't free power. It's borrowed power. And you pay for it with stress and heat. Every extra PSI crammed into the cylinders pushes your pistons, rods, and head gaskets harder than they were designed to handle. Without stronger internals, better fueling, and upgraded cooling, turning up the boost is like playing Russian roulette with your engine. Number 3. Aggressive cam timing without proper setup. Camshafts are the maestros of your engine's breathing, and messing with their timing is not something to take lightly. On paper, an aggressive cam profile sounds like a ticket to higher horsepower. More lift, more duration, more flow. What could go wrong? Plenty, actually. If your valve timing isn't perfectly in sync, you risk valve float, poor combustion efficiency, or even piston to valve contact. And that's about as catastrophic as it sounds. Without upgraded springs, tuned fueling, and a well-matched intake and exhaust system, aggressive cams can make your car idle like a tractor, stumble under load, or straight up eat itself. Number 4. Bad fuel mods or eco-tunes. Some drivers chase fuel economy with the same enthusiasm, others chase horsepower. That's fine until you start messing with the air-fuel ratio. Running lean might save you a few pennies at the pump, but it also raises combustion temperatures to dangerous levels. Engines aren't meant to run super lean under load. The extra heat can burn valves, crack pistons, and cause detonation. Worse, some people try to force lean conditions with aftermarket gadgets or budget tunes that claim to improve mileage. In reality, they're cooking their engines from the inside. Number 5. Poorly designed intakes or exhaust systems. Intakes and exhausts are two of the most popular mods, but when they're done poorly, they can do more harm than good. Take a cheap Ram air intake that just sits in the engine bay. Instead of drawing cool outside air, it slurps up hot air from under the hood. Hotter air means less oxygen, which means less power and more stress on the engine. Exhaust systems can be just as bad. Slapping on oversized pipes or cutting out catalytic converters without proper tuning ruins exhaust scavenging, kills low-end torque, and can throw off your air-fuel ratios. The car ends up running worse than stock, and in some cases hotter and dirtier, which accelerates wear. Which other helpful mod did we miss? Let us know in the comments.